Yo, what's up? This is your boy Postman, and you're tuned in to Post in a Diary Room. Welcome to Post in a Diary Room. And as you may know, every day is a good day to get a delivery from the Postman. And of course, if this is your very first time tuning in, please kindly like, share, subscribe, comment, do whatever is necessary to engage with the content, and most importantly, enjoy this video because I want to start it off by saying this wave of South African hip hop where they sample classics is trash. And you know what? I actually agree. And the reason why I agree with this take is because one, I do not get what these guys are trying to do. And two, the sampling is very, very bad. But worry not, we are going to get right into it. First and foremost, the guys that are at the top of this particular subgenre that we speak of, at this point, I don't think there is a name. And if there is a name, I just do not know about it. And I personally feel like the guys at the top who are championing this genre are doing very, very well because when you look at their streaming numbers are very, very high, they're very, very big. And some of them, you can argue that they have audiences outside of South Africa, which is very, very brilliant in the interest of standing out, especially in such an overly saturated international market, especially with music that sounds like that. And what do I mean like that? Like that, meaning that we have joints that sound like they are influenced heavily by Playboy Cardi, or sound like something that Playboy Cardi would do, or sound like something that Yeats would do. So these are guys or acts that are heavily influenced by Yeats, Playboy Cardi, Travis Scott, if you like. And these joints tend to lie on the trap side of things. And who are the guys that I'm talking about particularly? I'm talking about Brotherkupa, I'm talking about Jay Katana, I'm also talking about La Cabra, I'm also talking about, these are the guys that are spearheading this new wave of sampling and this subgenre that is bubbling under. And of course, they do have a lineage or a history of them doing trap, but they've slightly tilted their focus towards focusing the sound into sampling these classical Gqom, Skotane, like whatever it is that was banging before. They're now bringing it back and they use it for this subgenre that doesn't have a name, in my opinion, and is bubbling under right now. But particularly, like I have said, the guys have a very huge following, and the sound in itself is very, very good for their people, right? For their people. But for me, I do not agree with the sound. I do not get it. I feel like it's very horrible to listen to, and I feel like they're doing the samples an injustice because half the time they sample all the things that are under the sun. And recently I saw Brotherkupa actually sampling a classical Kwaito joint. And I do not believe that this style of sampling is the future of South African hip hop. I do not believe in it, and I think it's bad. And all they do is chop up whatever they want to chop up and then lay some snares, lay some distortion, and also lay some bass and then call it a day, and then a verse where they're just really being lazy. Their writing is also lazy. There's not much writing. It's just about the vibe, and the rapping is off beat the whole time. And yeah, I guess for a lot of people, for a certain number of people, or a select number of people, that is something people enjoy because yeah, it's very serious in South African hip hop. But if we're talking South African hip hop ish, man, I do not think this would work. I'm willing to say with him, I'm not going to give this a chance because I actually classify this subgenre as TikTok music. No disrespect, because for me these songs sound very, very nice on memes than they do as standalone singles, because you normally stumble upon these joints on TikTok where there's someone dancing or there's like a meme going on and someone has a crazy caption and it correlates with what maybe the lyrics of the joints are saying, or maybe someone is dancing and they're having a vibe, they're catching a vibe, and oh, you're like, oh, this joint sounds some way. Let me go check it out. And then when you go check it out, it's like, whoa, this joint actually sounds like this for the most part. There's nothing interesting there. And I think there's a danger to it, especially when you consider the fact that guys like Mfanatouchline, who have now gone on to kickstart their catalog with joints that actually sound like this, because I think Mfanatouchline is the only guy that I can actually think of right now who has a catalog filled with joints that sound like this. And I must give credit to Brotherkupa for being the one who actually started these types of joints with the likes of Grom Freestyle as well as Limpopo Freestyle. I thought that was very, very important for me to mention. But I don't think this is something that I would listen to going further. I don't think this is a genre that I would listen to every day like I listen to regular South African hip hop. But then at the same time, I do agree that there are different strokes for different folks, and this one is just not for me. The guys must keep doing their thing, but to the people that ask me what I think about this particular genre, I don't like it. I think it's whack. I think it's just horrible to listen to. This is not something that I would listen to, and it's just not made for me. It's not made for. I'm not even an old head, to be quite honest, but it's just not for me. Let's just see what a lot of people said when they saw this tweet. I need SA rappers to lock in. This thing of dropping projects every 2 years isn't gonna work anymore. Now we're being force fed garbage because the guys who are actually good at making music wanna be Frank Ocean as well as Rihanna. And then someone actually came out to say, please let people utilize their creative freedom. Picasso paintings don't make sense to most people, but they standing or sitting at in the Louvre for a reason. We don't always have to enjoy the same things. Art is subjective, just vibe to it or don't. Pretty fair. It's very fair to say. And another one says Brotherkupa actually started a pandemic. These niggas be sampling anything old. Yeah, I actually agree. But then again, like I also said, like what we like is what we like. What we don't like, we don't like. And yeah, but to be quite honest, I just feel like this is just very awful to listen to, for me, at least. I'm not really impressed by the lack of musicality that this sound actually has, but I am gonna give it time. I'm not really giving it the hope that it deserves. I don't have hope in the sound, and kudos to the guys that are doing it. No disrespect, no hate to them. I just don't like what they're doing. I just don't get what they're doing. And I guess it's okay to go against the conventional rules of South African hip hop if they do exist. And just doing your own thing. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, try the next thing. I guess that's what they're doing. But post on it, Aaron. Please kindly like, share, subscribe, comment. Do whatever is necessary to engage with the content. And most importantly, I will see you on the next one.